You can either try to keep up with the Joneses or you zig when the rest of the division is zagging. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, that's exactly what the Ravens have just done now. That, Steve Smith goes away and they're strong at tight end if everybody's in good health. And I think Brashard Perryman maybe, there were signs in the second half of last season that he's ready to have his breakout a little bit delayed. And they got an interesting little committee there, running back, so on and so forth. But I do think, Handsome, to your point, in a division that now features the collection of weapons that the Bengals now have in their passing game, and the collection of weapons that the Steelers have, I just don't know, are they going to be able to scratch out enough points to keep up with those two Joneses?
I'm curious to see how it all shakes out. They have the most favorable schedule. When I went back and started to
more so than Pittsburgh or Cincy.
I'm working with the research team. We're going to do it. I don't want to tell our secret before it, but we're trying to kind of do a version of power rankings and strength of schedule that we want to be kind of interactive with all season long. So we've started to take some preliminary cuts to see all right, strength of schedule in the past is crap because it's wins and losses and that's it. And there's no contextualization of it.
Based on a previous season.
Right. So we kind of adjusted for new personnel. We adjusted for, turnover differential of last year and then how that relates to now. We adjusted for things like we're trying to figure out the right weightings for how important is this quarterback versus that quarter. So we're trying to kind of do it. And actually the Ravens have been in a pretty good spot because they're in situations in their schedule next year favors a team that has a better defense than one that has a better offense. So that's really just kind of what so far.
And we're about to talk about the Browns as well, but they play the NFC North, which is interesting because that's all, that's going to be tricky for the teams in the AFC North to go and play against those guys. Both ways. But those are interesting games.
And Danny Woodhead does provide a pass catching upside running back. So it's not like he's just like a regular committee guy.
Yeah, but they get rid of, among the guys, I think one of their bigger losses is Timmy Jernigan. I didn't understand moving on from him. Doomerville gone now. Sharice Wright moves on, but they replenish the secondary, probably better in the secondary at this point with Brandon
really
Carr. I like that nice big physical corner. I know he's not dominant, but I actually was hoping
Marlon Humphrey?
No, I'm talking about Brandon Carr. As a free agent, I wish the Steelers would have gone out and gotten him because that's the kind of player they want, and that's what makes that rivalry so great. Back to my point of 5 minutes ago about keeping up with the Joneses. The Steelers and Ravens are very similar to one another in the way they try to construct their team. So that is, they really do seek the same ball players, literally, not just in broad strokes. Marlon Humphrey, the Steelers had their eye on and may well have drafted.
I loved him.
Mike Taylor
I loved Marlon Humphrey. He said he was going to be the best defensive player in this draft.
Yeah.
I liked Tim Williams too.
Freeland. How do you expect this offensive line? It was not a position of strength last year. That's a bad spot in a division that you figure that they're going to have to be able to grind you on the ground to keep the ball away from the Steelers and Bengals offenses this year.
So, I don't know. I like this stat where it says 26 of 32 have been decided by 8 points or fewer. That means that if they get even a marginal improvement in their O-line, that could potentially make a big difference because it's not coming from their defense needing to be shored up, right? It's coming from a little bit more production being needed on their offense. So, to me, I think that just means there's a room for even this much improvement. Will give them the opportunity. Those are close games. Those are all but 6 are close.
Final verdict. Better than 2016, the Baltimore Ravens. Where do they finish within the AFC North?
Good chance for a wild card, not first.
Not first.
Nope. Hard to not give it to the Steelers, even though I'm not pandering to you.
A lot of people are in love with this Bengals team. They feel like they have overwhelming firepower.
Okay, but there's some major. When does Andy Dalton win a?
Believe me, preaching to the choir. When people tell me, "Oh, Bucky Brooks, our pal, told me, you better be scared of that Bengals team," I said, it's Andy Dalton versus Ben Roethlisberger. I think that's a key detail on the respective offenses, too. I'll take 7. 7 is greater than 14. Handsome. Better or worse than last year?
I think, Dave, they're going to finish with the same record, but they're going to be one position worse in the division.
I think...
Record.
8-8, third. Record.
I'm going to say that they are second in the division once again. I think they beat out the Bengals.